anything, I'm more than happy to help.
No, I'm good. All right, cool. Thanks. I'm just gonna, okay, start admitting everybody. Yeah? Okay. Oh my gosh, people are gonna be so excited.
Woo!
Woo.
Wow, the gang's all here.
I know. I think we got everybody in, right? Is everybody in, Susan?
Yep.
32, we got 32 right now.
Yep.
Sweet. Okay, gang. So excited to be with all of you guys. I think there's a few people here from our school that I have not met yet. So I'm excited to be with you. I'm Nancy Burwood. I'm the founder of First Take and then teach some of the master classes. And so excited to have our guest with us today that I'm going to introduce here in a minute, but you guys are in for a big treat. So anyway, we've got two guests, Victoria Burrows, legendary casting director, and Mykelti Williamson, one of the great actors, amazing roles. I'm going to talk about their background and some of the incredible accomplishments. But we are all here because this is a benefit for Victoria's Star Paws Dog Rescue. Victoria has been rescuing dogs for, geez, I mean, way long. I mean, since Riley. So, yeah, since Riley was her first dog rescue. And so she got really passionate and she saves lives. It's amazing what she does, how sacrificial she is in helping hundreds and hundreds of dogs, or maybe thousands at this point. I don't know. It's been a lot. Third time she has 25 dogs at her house because she cannot bear to have, she cannot bear to let any dog go not rescued. So we actually got our dog Hope, who is the joy of our lives, the sweetest dog ever, through Victoria and what she does. And so she is quite the hero. 100% of everything today is going to Star Paws Dog Rescue. Encourage you guys to adopt dogs, foster dogs, etc. And I met Mykelti at the Artios Awards a couple of years ago and was talking to him at the table about how much I was a massive fan of his work and what an incredible actor he is. And he was talking about teaching character actor classes. And so I was like, oh, would you come teach for us? And then was talking about Victoria's Dog Rescue. So he said that he would do this today as a donation to the dog rescue. So super excited about that. So let me just tell you a little bit, because these two, and mind you, it's got to be a little bit because their credits are unfreaking believable. Victoria's actually been a best friend, sister to me for 30 years, and I'm proud to know her as an amazing human being, just as the person she is, but her career is unbelievable. Sometimes I forget, like, it's just I'm in awe of what she's accomplished. She has 139 credits of things that she's done. As far as she's done television, she's done film. She has like every conceivable genre, which is unbelievable in and of itself, as far as comedies, dramas, sci-fi, like everything. She's a member of the Academy. Some of her many movies, she's the go-to casting director for Peter Jackson and Robert Zemeckis, who she was with all day yesterday, working on their most recent project, Maestro. But
which is actually Pinocchio.
Yes. And thank you very much for bringing in a group of our people for that. Just wrapped Witches recently, based on the book, the amazing television show Project Blue Book, which the Pentagon just recently, I'm assuming that's going to get picked back up here with the recent Pentagon stuff, saying that this stuff is true. So
it would be nice.
Yeah. Anyway, The Hobbit, the Lord of the Rings movie, Flight, The Lovely Bones, Polar Express, King Kong, Castaway, Contact, amazing films and film and television. and just an incredible human being. And then Mykelti Williamson, just one of the greatest actors. You just blow my mind. And just getting to know you a little bit, also wonderful, wonderful person. He's got, besides all of his film and television, you have over 100 credits, film and television credits. Besides that, this guy's like a mogul. He does real estate. He owns a spice company, Bubba style. It's just a musician, which I just found out about. Started acting professionally at 18. Incredible projects with Con Air, Ali, Lucky Number 11. I loved you as Don King. I just realized that you were so like changed that half the stuff I saw you in, I didn't even realize it was you, because that's how much you have these incredible roles. Gabriel in Fences, my goodness. He was on Broadway with that, August Wilson's Pulitzer Prize winning play, did 114 performances of that. Just magical, very, very special. Of course, everybody loves you as the beloved Bubba on Forrest Gump. That's like one of the most memorable parts of that movie is your role. Really, really incredible, the things that you've done. 12 Angry Men, which means I must have met you before. My cousin did that, Mary Jo Slater. Oh, so, yeah. And I was at everything for 12 Angry Men. So we probably met before, didn't even, way back. Three Kings. And then you've got some amazing upcoming projects, like the 24th, which is the story of the all-Black 24th United States Infantry Regiment and the Houston riot of 1917. You've got that coming up. And I know that you've got, I don't know how much you're going to be able to talk about the project that you have, the rights to Sean Bell, right, to his story and our development.
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Some incredible things, just mega talented actors. So proud to have these giants, like the best of the best at what they do, as our guests today, to be sharing some things. And so one of the things we're going to kind of be focusing on, because Mykelti is so great at this, is characters, bringing in the full character into an audition room and how to separate yourself out. And in the near future, when we figure it out, he's going to be doing a character class for us. So I figured we'll have him talk about that, and then Victoria can weigh in on the casting part of that as far as looking in a room. So
really nice that you're showing both sides,
Mm-hmm.
It's really helpful to the actors, especially the way that our business is going, because now, where there's no in-office auditions as much, everything is the self-tape, and which we'll get into. But thank you for having us. I think it's very thoughtful for you to help your peeps to understand and learn from our perspective. It takes away some of the fear, I think, for some actors that know that, we're rooting for everyone to be the best that they can be in their role, when they bring it into the room, or if they put it on tape, it just have fun. So thanks for making this happen, Nance.
Yeah, we love you so much, Vic. Yeah. Thank you guys, really. Geez.
Absolutely. It's interesting that we're in an interesting time right now. I look at it like this: there's always opportunity, always. And right now, everyone has an opportunity to get better. An opportunity has created people to elevate your humanity and the humanity of others because of how that's going to be reciprocated within your art.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the word heart, it has art in it. You feel me?
It's good.
Yeah, it's got the word art in it. And it's also got he, which is human, which is us, right? Yeah. So it's our art. Our humanity and our heart is our art, man. So you guys never forget that, and never, ever give up on yourself. These are tough times for a lot of people, but you know what? We're going to pull it off, man. You guys chose to be actors for a reason, because there's a gift within you. Never, ever perceive your gift as diminished in any way. You can do anything.
Yep.
Just the fact that you desire to do this tells you you have what it takes. You just have to fine tune and sharpen your skills. That's all it is. All right. So listen, Nancy, thank you so much again for this. I know that one of the things Victoria just mentioned was separating yourself and how to differentiate yourself. She talked about casting fears. When people go in to meet with a casting director, their knees are knocking, their hands are shaking, and their palms are sweaty. When I work as a director, I've been working a lot as a director the last 3 years. I'm one of Dick Wolf's directors on Chicago Med, Chicago PD, and so on, and FBI and all that. But when actors come in, first of all, I love actors. And when I enter to come in and bring actors in, I'll say, good morning, actors. I'll say, man, I love actors. To put the actors at ease when I'm walking through the lobby and they're prepping to come in and see me. It's important that you keep yourself at ease and breathe. And remember that the casting department, the casting staff, the casting person is your friend. They are on your side, man. I'm telling you. They are on your side, because when they have to sit in a room with a director like a Bob Zemeckis, or even a director like myself, if they bring in a person who does not have the skills to do what they should be doing, that's an embarrassment to them.
Yeah.
And their efforts and their art has been diminished somewhat. So they pick the best actors they can find because they want to represent the project at the highest level. So just the fact that you were let in the gate means you have what it takes. They believe in you. Do your work and be ready. And consider a second option when you go in the event it's asked for. Don't just learn your material one way. There's something else. I'm gonna give you this one thing that will help you to differentiate yourself when you do your work. And we'll circle back to that. It's called the P's, like Paul, and the C's, like Carl. The P's and C's. When most actors come in, the P's and C's being periods and commas, I hear every single period, every single comma. I'm like, come on, man, what are you doing? I'm supposed to write a check for that? That's ridiculous. No, I mean it. That's what I'm thinking. It's ridiculous. We've all brought you in here and I can hear every P and C. Why don't we just bring the writer? Do your thing. Forget the P's and C's. They don't exist. Make it real conversational human language that will land on people and they decipher in a certain spirit based on what you put on those words. Your words are targets. When you send your words out, boom, to someone in character, let it land on them with the intention you sent it with. That's why you got to mean what you say. That's why certain projects, you will not see me doing things like victimizing women and children, because when I'm working, my stuff is real, man. Because everybody is somebody's child. Everybody on this call, you're not an accident. You fit universal purpose being here. And being here in this moment right now is so powerful for your journey. Please take this seriously and understand what your words are supposed to do as an actor. It's supposed to do the same thing they do in life. They're supposed to be building people up. But as an actor, your character may be on a darker path. So you got to be so sincere and honest with that path. You got to live it, really live it, not act it, live it. And when you walk in your own truth as an artist, you'll choose the right projects. I'll never tell you, even if I were your coach, I would never tell you what not to do, but I talk to you about the humanity you want to represent as an artist and the project you want to come towards you you make those choices. You make those choices as a character. You make those choices off camera as a human being, the way you treat people. Even if they're dumping on you, find somewhere else to be, you know, and keep your whole trail as positive and lit with as much light as you possibly can, and draw people towards you. Don't repel anybody. So you make your acting character choices the same way. I'll simplify it for you. This is my system. And this is the way I live my life. I'll give you that. Love, respect, power, and a flamethrower. That completely defines Mykelti Williamson. I give everybody love. I give everybody respect. I give no one power except the creator. And I give myself power to be who I want to be and make the choices I want to make, as long as they don't injure other people. So I walk in love, walk with respect, and I walk in my own power, right? And in my back pocket, I carry a little tiny flamethrower. And I've never had to fully turn my flamethrower on anyone and just incinerate them. You can aim it at the sidewalk near them, and their behind will feel the heat from that flamethrower, and they will not bother you anymore. But there's a way to do it, and then find somewhere else to be. Okay? Now let me use that to show you something about character. Ask those 4 questions. What does your character love? Do they feel loved? Do they not feel loved? Do they love money over people? Do they love something that they never can have? What? Ask every single love question you can ask. And based on who you've decided that human being is, you answer those questions accordingly, and you live through it. It will not be the same journey you're on exactly. It will be a different human journey, but some of your values, you may find values that you agree with this character with. But that's you asking the love question. Exhaust yourself asking love questions about your character. The next one is respect. Do they respect themselves? Do they not have any respect for themselves? Do they feel disrespected? Do they respect the wrong person? And you can ask and exhaust all the respect questions. You feel me? I'm giving you a real simple way. Then it's love, respect. What was the other one? Let me see who's paying attention.
Power.
Power. Yeah.
Power.
Hello, sir. What was the other one? I said love, respect, what?
Power.
Power.
Right. Okay, great. Thank you. Yeah. Love, respect, power. Do they feel powerful? Does she feel powerless? Is she feeling overpowered, overwhelmed? And you can back up a step and say, does this person love themselves? Do they respect? Do they feel so disrespected at work that they go home because they feel powerless and turn their flamethrower on their loved ones? How do you end up at the flamethrower, and when does the flamethrower come up? What motivates and inspires the flamethrower to appear? Even if it's just brandished, where it's not fired, but it's just pulled out. That's character's attitude. That's the flamethrower, man. That's the part of her you don't want to see. And oh my gosh, if you do, and if you look at every single movie you've ever seen, and you use that love, respect, power, and a flamethrower, and observe the dynamic character, the main character, the protagonist, the lead, examine their journey, and you'll be able to tell when they're going to pull the flamethrower out and when they're not. When they're starting to feel, when they feel loved and they're not, and they're being deceived and da-da-da-da-da. Is this love real? Is this love being reciprocated? Just love questions. Love, respect, power, and a what? That's right. Flamethrower. I can read your lips. Yeah, that's it. So in a nutshell, that's how you separate yourself. Is forget the P's and C's. Move them around and make the language organic so it feels like real conversation. Because if we can hear the P's and C's when you come in the room, that's not high level work. That's just you trying to fool somebody. Okay. So I won't keep jabbing. I'll share some stage here with Victoria. We can ping pong it.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that I'm so glad you talk about that, because one of the things that I hear always in readings is, when somebody's supposed to cut you off and you'll have the actor talk and then they'll pause because there's one of those little commas or there's dot, 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 and they're waiting. It so ruins that moment. You can't count on the other actor always to be there. So you just have to stay in character and keep it going until they correct you. And it is conversational. That's one of the big things that we notice all the time is a lot of it comes out at they're talking at us in the scene instead of talking with us. And it really needs to be a listening to where it's conversational. And you said that numerous times, and that is so key, is make it really conversational and make it your own. If you ad lib a little bit, I don't know, as a director, if it affects you, I always say to the actors, it's okay to ad lib, make it your own. If we have a writer / producer / director that has issues with that, then I'm going to tell the actor they're really stick on that. But for the most part, I'd say kind of make it your own, and we can play around with it afterwards. So when people come into the room with us, it's like, my first comment is, we're going to lay one down for you and one down for me so that they can get their designed character out, and then we can get ideas and play with them on that. And that helps an actor also, I think, for you guys, is that you're going to get a couple of chances, which when you talk about the opportunities that things are created by situations such as the COVID, and now we're having to do self-tapes 99.9% of the time. When you come into an office with us, you usually have 1 to 3 times to do the scene. And at home, you can do it 20 times and pick the 2 best ones and send those in. So in a way, the lemons have turned into a lemonade because you've got more time and more advantage to create your world and your character, and you don't have anybody judging you in the room, because it feels like that a lot of the time, I think, right? So this is a plus. It's just now we have to learn how to be brilliant self-tapers, and a key or big key, which is what we're dealing with right now on Pinocchio, is that the audio is really tough. And we find that in a lot of our tapes that have been coming in, and I mean hundreds, that 80% right now are bad audio. And that means that the reader is getting more of the audio than, meaning the reader to the actor, is the actor, they're farther away, so it doesn't work as well. And Bob was commenting yesterday about it. He's like, the reader's upstaging the actor. This is not good. It's like, yeah, this is another thing. We give explicit directions on how to do things in ours because we want the actor to win and have a winning audition. A lot of people don't listen to that. They don't read it, they don't absorb it, and they just wing it. And it really comes across and it's really disappointing. So work on your audio and make sure that whoever reads with you isn't right next to the microphone. Anybody else want to jump in?
That's good. No, that's amazing. Good stuff.
That's absolutely right. There's and this is not a plug for this particular company, but there's a company in LA called Sammy's Camera. It's a video camera store.
I've heard of them.
And Sammy with 1 M. So Sammy's may have a Sammy's in the Bay Area as well. I'm not sure. But the reason I say Sammy's is because you can take your phone, your tablet, whatever device you're using, you can take that device with you to Sammy's and tell them you'd like to buy a single channel, lavalier microphone, wireless.
It's a what, lavalier?
It's a lavalier.
How do you spell that?
microphone. Yes, Lavalier, lavalier.
Okay.
And Sony and other companies make inexpensive versions that are awesome. They'll plug into your phone, they'll plug into your camcorder, and when they plug in, they cut off the mic that's on the camera and upstage that mic. And now the wireless signal that is on your microphone with your backpack hidden is being picked up going directly into the camera real clean, because the mic is located right near your chest or wherever you can put it. So get a lavalier. And I said Sammy's because you want to go and listen to it and make sure it doesn't sound like you're inside of a tin can.
Oh, yeah, we have so many
so
of those.
good.
Yeah,
now.
you don't want that. So go ahead and get the right microphone. It doesn't have to be expensive. If you pay over $200, you pay too much. If you pay under $125, you've paid too little.
So it's between, you said, because I actually want to help by sending this information out. So between 125 and 200?
125 and 200 for a single channel.
Okay. One channel lavalier microphone.
Wireless lavalier microphone.
Wireless.
Yes.
That's great. That's great advice.
And you don't need to buy a fancier mic and all that. It has a dust cover on the mic and all of that. So, but that's what I use, and that's what I recommend for my students, and that's what they have. And it helps them tremendously.
This is so helpful because we're going to do some callbacks, and ours is right now it's animation for Pinocchio and Jiminy Cricket.
Right.
And so our producer we were trying to figure out what are the packages, and then there's, Igloo, that music that has these, little booths that you can work, but it's thousands of dollars in 2 days of training. It's like, that's not a lot of people can handle that. Right. But he did say that his sound people said, if you're doing, let's say, a voiceover and or sometimes even an audition and you need the sound to sound good, you take your phone and you put it a foot in front of you and you talk out, so you can have the camera there, but make sure that the phone is about 12 inches from your chest with the microphone part facing you.
Right. On a surface that,
and if you're in a closet,
padding under it, so your microphone won't vibrate at all.
Right.
Put it on a small pad or something.
And they said that in the and you can do it in a closet, because when you talk towards the clothes, it absorbs all that tinniness. So that was like a big learn yesterday. And that's in our Witches film, Kristen Chenoweth did a voiceover, and that's how they got her performance, was she went into her closet and talked into her clothes with the phone.
Jeez. Oh my goodness.
And it was used. And it's like, it's brilliant, it's like, because they're saying the phones now are so good with their microphones that we can use it. You don't have to spend tons of money to do this.
Yes.
So that's another one. But I love this, and I'm going to be working on that. Thank you, T.
Good.
Yeah, sure.
So they said that there is a Sammy's in San Francisco, Heather says, and Jonathan said they're also, one-channel mics are also called mono microphones.
Mono, M-O-N-O, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay, mono microphones.
Yeah. Would you guys want to do some questions for a little bit? And T, do you want to tell them the coffee thing?
Yes. Oh, listen. I have one rule to answer questions. I need to know that everybody's on the same page and the same spirit. So any of the students who have a question, it is necessary to raise your coffee mug. And then I know you're part of this party. You feel me? And that's my only requirement. You can ask me anything you want to ask me.
But they can have water glasses too.
Yeah, anything. Just raise. That's how you get my attention. And that's it. So fire away.
You guys.
I have a question. I had a question for you, Mykelti. I like what you said about the P's and C's, and not having, you know, not making it so you're like reading off the script and it's like you're a robot and you're just reading what's there and stopping on dots and things like that. And I feel like what happens with me is, I'll have an improv monologue and I'll do the improv monologue and I'll get into it and I'll feel like really excited about it. And I'm like, okay, I'm in this. It feels good. It feels real to me. And then I'll go and look at the script and all of a sudden, like, the stuff that felt real slides away a little bit. And then I start like getting slightly married to those dots and those stop points and all those things in the script that kind of take me away from the improv monologue that like I was so excited about creating, because I'll create all the story and I'll dive into it and it'll feel great and it just feels so natural. But then it's so far apart from what was in the sides. And I'm like, how do I connect that together? So when I'm reading the sides, like I'm just I don't marry myself to that thing. Like, how do I develop that connection, the same connection I had with improv monologue?
Just tell the truth. Victoria nailed it. She said, it's your interpretation, ultimately. It's show us what you want to show us. It's just that simple. It's, when I say forget the P's and C's and it just feels like they keep coming back, what are you saying? What's your subtext? What are you really trying to say and how urgently are you trying to say it? There's a principle in character work. It's a principle of character. It's called smart people think faster.
Okay.
So allow some moments to slow you down because you're not really you haven't quite figured it out yet. And then you kind of linger and then you can pace it up when you get it. And then the audience will see that you got it without saying, got it. They just saw you live through it. Does that make sense?
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. So it's not like, it's when you're reading something, it's like you can get into the character, but it's not like, you're not trying to say, oh gosh, like, you know, ... It's like, how would you interpret that feel? Like if you realize something, what's real to you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Victoria said, make it your own. Remember that? That's part of that world of making it your own. It's like, you know, oh gosh, ... could be, oh gosh, it could be anything.
Yeah, and like how you, what's special about it that you experience when you see that?
Yeah, it could be anything. Yeah. Oh gosh, it could be whatever you want. I would rewrite it. One of the things that
oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I won't tell you what her name is, but she's an Academy level actor. She writes everything out by hand on a yellow pad. And that's what she studies from, is the yellow pad. The white pad has her notes on it, things that she may want to consider, but the language is on a yellow pad and it's written in hand. And that's how she works. And she's Academy level. So
wow. Okay. So it's like pen to paper, like what's in your head, how you're interpreting this, and you're writing it out.
Exactly. So
okay.
Write it out.
That's really cool.
Yeah, write that passage of dialogue out and then learn it from there.
Man, that's really, really cool actually. Because I when I write things out, I feel like somehow there's some connection that I have that with writing rather than reading that kind of like makes it more real for me. So yeah, that's actually really cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have Kristen with her hand up, so maybe she can do.
Can I address Sandeep's question? When you were talking about doing the monologue, was it memorized or are you semi-memorized?
No, it was just what I created from my head, and I would do the monologue, and it was an improv monologue. So if I'm trying to prep for some role in a scene, I have to make, you know, the scene real for myself. So I'm like, what story and details can I create to make it real for me? And I'll get really into it and I'll put all my like everything. And I'm like, okay, I got it. I'm in it. You know, and then I pick up the sides, and then I start roboticizing it a bit. And then I start to look at the P's and C's rather than what I just created. and it's like, and sometimes there's a disconnect there, but all the stuff that Mykelti said is amazing. And I really like the writing out portion, because I feel like when I do an improv monologue, I actually write it out first. And I never thought about writing anything out in the sides before.
And another thing that I recommend to actors, because they'll in the scenes, is sometimes when you get stuck in that moment, to get up and create movement, because not everybody looks at each other the whole time. So if you're sitting in a chair and all of a sudden your energy stops or drains, getting up and moving up around the chair, it keeps the audience interested in what you're going to do next, and then you can pick back up. And it can be a cheat sometimes for looking down at the and reconnecting with the character that you're reading with.
That's amazing, because I just realized I actually don't really move around. I kind of stay stiff. Yeah. So that's a really good point. That's a really, really good point. Cool.
It's something else to think of.
Yeah, cool. That's awesome. Thank you.
We have Kristen is next, I think, with her hand up.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I actually feel like something that's holding me back is memorization. I think if I was able to be better at memorization, I could let go more when I do a scene. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's my biggest hurdle right now is trying to memorize stuff so that I can just let go. Do you have any tips on good ways to memorize?
Yeah, absolutely. This really simplifies it, and this is the preferable way I like my students to learn their material. One line at a time. One line, and just keep at it over and over. One line at a time, and you have someone reading it to you. Instead of looking at the words on a page, have someone run the line for you, and you learn it that way. You feel me? And do it one line at a time. Then you go back and add a second line, and you read line 1 and line 2. And you just repeat that until you know you've got some very interesting people started, right? Then you add from 1, 2, and 3, and so on. But that, to me, has been the most significant way of learning language, learning the lines and becoming one with the line, because you're not allowed to go on and further pressure yourself until you've memorized one of the lines. And behind you is a trail of successes as you advance through your material. So you don't have to go, oh, I can't get through. Yes, you can. You can do anything. So give yourself more victories behind you than wins, and just knock them down one at a time. It's the only way you can eat an elephant is one bite at a time. You try to swallow that fella and watch what happens. You feel me? So one bite at a time. Okay, Kristen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Please get word to me. Let me know how it goes for you. Okay.
Jose, we've got next with his coffee cup and his hand up.
How you doing, Mykelti?
Excellent. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Oh, really? I'm a little nervous because, two people who have collaborated with my idol, Tom Hanks. Wow, it's amazing. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna calm myself down now. Okay. All right. Well, my question to you, Mykelti, and I do have a second question as part of the one question for you, Victoria. First, Mykelti, my question to you is, first time I saw you was in Forrest Gump. It's my all-time favorite movie, and I would like to know, what was it like being on the set, like especially working alongside Tom Hanks?
Well, we knew we were working on something really special, and I'd known Tommy Hanks for a while. I actually knew Rita before I knew Tommy Hanks, and so I got to know Tommy through her prior to doing the movie. But When I first heard of the film Forrest Gump, one of my students came to me with material. And so for the Bubba Blue character. And so I told him what I thought I would do. And based on the information he had, and he was like, nah, no, it's not like that. It's not, he's like written as like this strong, like Skipper and Gilligan type characters, Gilligan's Island. He's this Bubba, and then there's the skipper to save him. He's like this tough black guy. I was like, nah, man, I'm not feeling that. So I said, okay. So I helped both of my students who had auditions get ready. And then when they went in, they didn't get a call back. I said, would you guys mind if I went in and called my people? And then they said, no, of course not. I said, good, because I already called them. So I'm going in on this Forrest Gump thing, but they're going to see me on a Saturday, which was weird. And so I get a call I get the material, and I get a call a day later from my agent at the time, a woman named Nina Pakula.
Oh, Nina.
Nina. And so Nina called me. She said, Mykelti, she said, they are not taking you seriously. They're going to have a casting assistant read you on a Saturday. She said, I'm so upset over this, because she wasn't the point agent who set it up, but I followed Nina and Martin Lisak from another agency called The Light Company years ago, Vicky Light, way back. Yeah. And so Nina and I are like family. So she said, Mykelti, when you go in there, I want you to kill him. I said, all right, Nina, thank you for the heads up. So I prepared and I prepared and I prepared and I prepared. And Saturday I went in, and the casting assistant saw me do the scene and said, I'm sorry, what is your name again? How do you say your name? And so I told her. She said, can I find I need to get in one of these rooms and find a camcorder to put you on. So she made a couple phone calls. I waited about 25 minutes, made a bunch of phone calls. The janitor came around and let her in someone else's office, and we went in there, and she put me on tape. Let me close my glass. Hold on.
Crazy.
Okay, so 25 minutes go by. We get a room to go in. She puts me on tape, and she's just shaking her head like, oh my gosh. She puts me on this VHS tape, this big block, right? And some of us remember those. So it was FedExed out. I figured, well, we'll see. And then I get a call the following week, like I think by Wednesday, and it's from Bob Zemeckis' office. They wanted me to come in. They called my agent and want me to come in and match up with Tommy Hanks. So I said, okay, all right, that's cool. So it was just a few of us who had come back. And when I did the scene in the conference room, sitting across a conference table from Hanks, Tommy Hanks was kicking me under the table, kicking me like, dude, you're killing it, you're killing it, you're killing it. So I want to say all that to let you know that sometimes you may be told no, but something inside you is going to tell you this is for you. It doesn't matter what they say. And you end up with an experience like we had on Gump, which was an amazing experience. It was amazing. It's one of those things you hope the world gets to see and experience, because you put so much love in it yourself. We had the best. There's no such thing as a better director. There's no such thing as a better writer. There's no such thing as a better cast. There's no such thing as a better crew, casting department, top shelf, everything. And so it was a wonderful experience, but it took faith and confidence in yourself, and knowing that it's all bigger than you, and being respectful and working on your craft. And the best way you can respect yourself is to be the best you can possibly be. Do your work, man. I'm telling you, do your work. Do your work. Shucks. Boy, Everybody on here has a unique footprint. I'm looking at everybody on here. I don't see one muggly person on the call. So it's going to be a pleasure to see you do your work going forward because you're easy to look at too. Everybody has something interesting about you that I'm looking at. And I'm like, yeah, please come tell your stories, please, because you have what it takes, all right?
Thank you.
You got it.
And Victoria, I have a question for you. Whenever Tom gets casted, what separates him as a person, as an actor, from all the actors and actresses that you've casted?
What separates Tom Hanks from all the
Yeah.
others that we've
Yes.
cast?
Yes. Like as far as like, acting style, just who he is basically.
Well, he's a very accessible actor. So when he's on screen, you always feel what he's doing in the character. And he just has that specialness. That's kind of like an it factor that happens for him. And a lot of actors have that, but he just has that quality that everybody wants to watch him for 2 hours.
Yeah.
That's about as best as I could say to answer your question.
Right.
And we'll hope that he's going to be Geppetto.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's on the news, so I no longer am hiding the secret.
Oh, so good, so good.
So he's in talks, but yeah, he's been a delight to work with, and what he did on Castaway, and we did Polar Express together, and I actually worked on Forrest Gump with some added scenes, which is I had done with a Tales from the Crypt for Bob, and then he called me in to do just some local stuff on Forrest Gump. So I feel so honored that I had just a teeny weeny little bit to do with that movie, because Ellen Lewis rocked it. She was amazing with that. She's just terrific. She's a terrific casting director.
Yes, she is.
And so from there, I ended up working for Bob, and it's been over 30 years, so.
Good.
Yeah, that's cool.
We're both, T and I are lucky we've had the experience with him, it's he's one of those collaborative and just brilliant. He always does something different. It's like, it amazes me how much he changes it up. And now we're doing a live action with animation, and we were in the mocap world. And anyway, so going back to you guys.
Yeah, really good stuff. Yes, you've done so many things that are cutting edge there with mocap and all of that. We have
first mocap movie, Polar Express.
I know, amazing. Like I remember you talking about it was nobody knew what it even was. It was amazing. Like when you were first talking about it, that you guys were working on that. It was so cool. Jonathan has a question, but yeah. Jonathan?
Oh, yeah, hi. First off, T, your performance in Forrest Gump was one that I took away with me as soon as it ended. It was just, and so I just had a quick question about the jaw. The jaw, was that well, now that you told the story about it being different, how did you come up with that? And I'm assuming you came up with the jaw. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the way people perceive you is the way they treat you. And we're all products of our past. The people who've been subjected to more mistreatment have been affected a certain way, and they're either more aggressive or far less aggressive. You feel me? So I found a balance for that character by making him somewhat unattractive on the outside with a flaw that was noticeable with the extended lip, because I wanted him unappealing on the outside but beautiful on the inside, because I thought it would draw people into this quirky looking guy. And the words where he was in support of Forrest as a protector, the same words, depending on the actor, can make a lamb the one who is your protector. It's the same words. Characters are defined by behavior anyway. It never has anything to do with the language. Never forget that. A character is defined by behavior, period. So, so that's why I chose the character that way. And it's interesting because I told Bob Z what I wanted to do. I said, like I did in the audition tape, I want to stuff the bottom lip. He says, well, maybe I said, I think we can have something built for that because I've done it before. And he says, you have? I said, yeah, on stage. I've done all kinds of stuff to change my face, but all that stuff is in LA. So we went and a dentist built an appliance that looked like my gums, but it pushed my lower lip out far enough so I could visually see it when I looked down. I could see inside, I see my lip. And so Bob Z saw it. He said, great. He wrote this note, go for it.
Wow.
And when we got on the set and we shot a couple takes, he came to me and says, I don't know if we should wear that thing because I don't want to offend anybody. I said, you said you wearing one? Right? And so he looked at me and he started laughing. Like, who's this little black dude? Who's this guy? Right? And so I said, Bob, you're not going to offend black people. Ain't nobody on the set blacker than me. And I just told him out of love, I'm like, I'm the guy. It's like, I would never do anything to harm my people. I love who I am and my culture and this and that. And I explained to him again why I made the choice, which is what I just told you. Flawed on the outside, but beautiful on the inside. So people are drawn to this person's humanity and not the oddness that the world has put up on them because they're odd looking. People have us, especially growing up, kids are mean. Kids will get you. So just think about how his personality was shaped based on having a lip like that. And you arrive there as the actor making the choices and the decisions. And I knew how he had been affected in his life growing up with a lip like that. And so that's why I made those choices, because he was flawed externally, but beautiful and flawed internally. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I hope you guys are getting this stuff, man.
It's good, man.
Yeah,
good.
no,
The nuggets.
that was
So good.
that was great. I mean, it just shed so much light on all of that. So just a quick follow-up, how did you get the courage to make those choices? Or when did you start doing that in your career?
My mother,
those risks.
My mom always taught me, she says, son, you start out like you want to end up. And she never stopped saying it. She said, If I had a little girlfriend I liked or something, and she would say, you need to take a shower before you go see that little girl, right? And I would go, she'd go, no, because you want to start out like you want to end up. Do you want her to not shower? What do you want, right? How do you want to be perceived as the stinky little boy who comes over? So I said, okay, got it. Quick story. I've had a lot of confidence all my life because of my parenting, right? And the images I saw. I came up with different television at the time. I saw things that inspired and was less tearing down as we see now. You really didn't see that. Even the intimacy was behind closed doors, most of it intimacy. So we were protected from a lot of stuff that people are now thinking about graphically because they see it. They see how ugly people treat one another. They see intimacy when they shouldn't be in the public square. It should be intimate. They see all kind of crazy stuff. They see the put down of other people because they're different. Now that's been turning around, thank goodness. But that's the kind of mean stuff that people have been seeing. So I was informed differently, man. I always believed I could do it. And my agent, who was a dear friend of mine, one time called when I was in my early 20s. He called my mother. And my mom was worried. He said, he's a dear friend of mine. His name is Martin Lee Sack. So Martin was concerned about me because I was really confident. And Martin called my mother and told her that I was overly confident. And my mom said, well, has he done anything to offend anybody? They said, no, he's kind, he's funny, he's like very considerate, but he's not a big star yet. And he carries himself like he's already there. And my mom chuckled and said, I raised him like that, Mark. If he needs to pull back, you let me know. But if he's not hurting anybody and you say people are crazy about him, it's just let him do what he does. He said, but I'll talk to him. He says, okay. And then Martin laughed about it. Martin and I still laugh about that to this day, that he called my mom.
Wow.
My mother on. But listen, like I told you, everybody on this call, you're on this call for a reason. You're supposed to be here. You have what it takes, or you wouldn't even be in pursuit of this kind of what I call a ministry. This is everything that I am. I'm sharing and teaching you right now, because I only give you the truth and the best of what I have, because that's a reflection on everybody on this phone. Your time is the most valuable commodity you have. It's the only commodity no one's making more of, right, guys? Yeah. So respect everybody else's time and respect your own time. Don't waste your time on things that won't benefit you or somebody else in a great way. Don't even spend time on that. Leave that alone. Yeah. So hopefully that helps. I was raised with a lot of confidence.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Susan?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, here. Okay. Sorry. Hi. Hello again. So actually, yeah, I feel like every time I see you, it feels like that kind of character where, you know, flawed on the outside, but beautiful on the inside. And so when I saw Forrest Gump, you were my favorite character in that whole movie. And so it's great that Jonathan asked you that question. And so then the next time I actually saw you, and I'm sure you did a bunch of things, but was in Con Air. Right. And that was yet again, you know, you had, you know, the medical condition, and then, you know, and you're so lovable. What was it like working on that film? Because it was like an action film, and there's like all kinds of crazy stuff happening in that. In that movie. I was just curious.
Forrest Gump was, Forrest Gump was one of my all-time favorites. Con Air, I enjoyed myself, I have to tell you. I enjoyed the director, Simon. I enjoyed the cast and crew. There were a lot of tough guys, a lot of testosterone on a movie like Forrest, like Con Air. These are all criminals, and the guys used to joke me all the time, like, he's in here for this, he's in here for that, in character. What are you in here for? Laughing, right? But then I went to the writer and told him, I said, can you come down and let these guys know that this character is like the most notorious dude in the whole prison system, and you better be glad he's not going crazy. So he came down and made that announcement, and people were like, you paid him to say that. Oh, so we won all the time. And all those guys you saw, as big as they were and as strong as they were, Malkovich was a gentleman all the time. Buscemi is a cool guy. I love Steve Buscemi. Ving Rhames I've known forever. But it was a great cast, everybody. But one of the things that happened was a lot of the stunt players and the more physically fit actors wanted to challenge Nicolas Cage. Every day they wanted to challenge him to something. And he kept saying no. So this one day I said, man, I would pay handsomely to see you like polish all these guys off, right? So Nicholas, he said, yeah, you may not have to pay. I'm thinking about it. I said, okay, well, I won't say anything. So Nicholas kept getting himself together, and he had a gym right on the set, outside the set. So one day Nicholas said, all right, who wants this $1,000, right? So everybody's like, what? They said, all right, push-ups. Who wants some, right? And Nicolas Cage clowned everybody on the whole movie. Clowned everybody. By far. Push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, jumping jack, anything. He crushed all those guys, picked his money up, put it back in his pocket. And I was like, wow. So we had fun. Dave Chappelle was in the film too, and I've known Dave.
That's Susan's best friend.
Not
Yeah.
best
Very
friend,
super
but
good. Well, you're
Dave.
his best friend, yeah.
Love Dave. His agent is Martin Lisak, is my dear friend Martin. Yeah. So Chappelle was on it. And Chappelle, I've known since he was 16, because that's when Martin first met him.
What?
That brother had us in stitches. The whole man, he's one of the funniest people I've ever been around in my life. Where the crew is laughing and the camera's shaking and the director, he's like, Dave, come on, Dave. You know, so we had a ball, man. We had a ball. And his improv is off the charts. So we had a great time, a lot of fun.
So was the director okay with a lot of improving, or just for Dave? Or
well, no, everybody there was a professional who know how to stay on story.
True.
And we also have the intelligence and experience of knowing you give the director what's written.
Mm-hmm.
And then even Al Pacino would do that, and then he'll go off script and do what he calls a Mr. P special, Mr. Pacino special. That one's for him after he's done everybody else's work.
Right.
So that's the way a lot of directors they like to approach it, unless they tell you up front, like Nancy, like Victoria said, she tells people they have parameters to do that, or whether they should stay more confined to the language. So the directors are pretty much the same way. You know how they like to work. They'll let you know.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Susan brought Dave by our class, and he talked about after class, and he talked about Con Air, and he was really self-deprecating about it. It was, like, because I was talking about how great I thought he was in it, and he was like, oh, it seemed to really minimize. Yeah.
No, listen. I remember Dave didn't have a lot to do or say, neither did I, during the whole course of that movie, but we were present and we were a meaningful presence in the movie.
Absolutely.
I remember Chappelle, this one improv where he had on a Department of Corrections shirt. And so Dave said, he saw these cute women when they escaped from the plane, and he says, I'm from the Department of Corrections. So Dave said, I'm from the Department of Corrections. And man, it was so funny. But that's the kind of gold nuggets. He needs to stop that, man, because he's something. He made the experience special for me. So please give Dave my love, man. Yeah.
Sweet. Julian has his hand up. And then we're going to go with Shantae. Sandeep will come back to you because you've asked some questions. And so we'll go Julian, then Shantae. Julian?
Yeah, I'm here. I really love Forrest Gump and your performance in it, Mykelti. I just love the whole movie and the history and the music. It was sad when he died, though. But so my question is, in our school, they teach us a lot about being ourselves and like how you said, to live through the character and really live it. But I had a question, like when you were doing Bubba, your voice is a little bit different. So I was just wondering, like, how important is it to practice other voices, or is that a voice you already had, or did you have to practice that? Or that's my question is, like, about voices and being different, even though you're supposed to be yourself.
Every actor has three voices. You have your diaphragmatic voice, you have your head voice, and you have your mid voice. Mm-hmm. And you can differentiate between the two. The people who speak more of the head voice like this are considered more of a dimwit. The people who have more of a grounded voice, like the woman who speaks to you firmly like this, that's her diaphragmatic voice. That's her presence. So based on how you position your character, you select where the voice comes from. Whether it be mid voice, someone who's kind of balanced and can go both ways, head voice, or diaphragmatic voice, someone who's really grounded and solid. Okay? But the lighter, that head voice up here, That's somebody, what, man? That's somebody who's not that bright. So just you figure it out. And you build your character accordingly. So that was that principle at work is what you witnessed.
Yeah. Okay. Is the voice something you practice a lot, or is it natural to you?
I just go to it and live in it. I don't know if that helps, but I have no trouble committing to things.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
And then some people may be a little more challenged committing, but I don't. I just live where I want to be. I just do it the way I want to do it. Like you just mentioned, being yourself, be true to yourself. And I think accents are another fun tool to have in your arsenal, because that was a Bio-La-Battery, Alabama Southern accent. And there's different Southern accents, you know? So, and they're regional. So New Orleans sounds different than Texas, and Texas sounds different than Alabama and South Florida. So you just have to just figure out what you want, who you want to be, and be that person. That makes sense?
Yeah, that sounds really good. It's a really good way that you put it with the three voices and everything. I like that.
Good.
And we love to see, just before you pop over to the next person,
Sure.
we love to see an actor commit to a character, walking in our room and saying, hey, I've designed this character. Let me know if you want me to do it differently. But it gives you permission to bring in your own style, and the commitment really shows when you go for it 100%. Because you can see when an actor is going, oh, I'm trying to please what they're thinking, versus just like, I got this character in mind, I'm going to deliver, and you let me know if you want something different. And that's, Michael, I think you talked about it before, was, always be ready to do the other, but come in with a committed character, that you've been working on. And we love that. It's just, that gets exciting for us. I love going to Bob and saying, or my other directors, and saying, here's an out of the box idea. Somebody just came in and just rocked it in a different way that I hadn't imagined it, because we all read a script and have an interpretation of what we see. And most of our directors and producers let us run with it with some basic guidelines, what's written in the script and what the director and the producer see. And TV, of course, is a little different than features. So I would love to find out about what you look for when in the episodic world, when you're doing episodic versus what you deal with in features as well. But anyway, so we love that. And it's worked for us. In The Witches, there was a little kid that came in and just was supposed to be Southern, and he did it in his British, and he just was so wowed that we were so excited. We brought it to Bob and the team, and they cast him. So it was written Southern, and it now is in the movie as British, a little British kid. So
he's amazing too. Oh my God, what a wonderful.
Yeah, I showed you guys that. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All of that is so valuable that you just got, guys.
Yeah.
Victoria's dropping what we call science on you. Well, that's mad science, man. So be sure you don't let that one go. It's important. We talked earlier before the actual call began, and one of the things that we know helps is if time permitting, an actor prepares an optional choice. But time permitting. But if you really know you need to focus on this one character, you've got to go in tomorrow, do that. Do that and do it well and knock it out of the park. Forget the P's and C's, live through the humanity of this person based on your principles. Because I know you're in a good school learning some cool stuff. My style is different, but you put all the goodies you're getting from all of us together, and you got yourself a bowl of something. You feel me? Yeah. So yeah. And don't stop believing, man. But when actors come in the room, I look for them to believe in themselves and to have confidence. I'm not looking for friends. Hi, how are you today? I'm good, man. Let's see what you got there, my friend.
Yeah.
I'm good. We're not looking for friends. We're looking for excellence. We're looking for the most truthful expression possible coming in the room. A director, especially in television, I don't have time. We have to shoot an episode in 8 or 9 days. I don't have time to hold an actor's hand and shoot multiple takes on an actor. So when a guest actor comes in, they're usually fine, but it's the day player, local hire actors that can eat your lunch. Give them 3 lines and they're terrified. And now the lead actor on the show is going like, man, what is going on? We shouldn't have to do this 5 times. So I have to cut around people like that. So I'm not looking for actors like that. I'm looking for the kind Victoria just talked about, who come in and you know. And if you feel like you're not going to be excellent at an audition, I would never go on the audition. I would ask for another day or 2. And I've let things go because I'm going to go in there and misrepresent myself. If I go in this room just trying to get a job, we could see you. We could see you. That's why you don't come in there playing. If you're not ready, we know it. You're not going to trick Victoria. You're not going to be tricking me as a director or as an actor because I understand those journeys. So be ready and have fun, man. Come in, be polite, be clean, be respectful, and be instantaneous with your work. You bow your head, breathe, whatever it takes, so that we know you've taken over the air in the room. Some actors just start. I never just start. I always just, then I give you a nod and here we go, baby. Let's go. Because now people know I'm running this. You ain't running this. I'm running this. You ran it up till I walked in. I'm going to run this little piece, then I'm going to give it back to you. Then you keep running it. But right now, I got this. And you see the casting person sitting over there, and it's like, I got you. You got to know, I got you, man. I'm not playing with your time, your brand. I'm not playing with your day like that. And I crush it and don't always get it. But at least I represented my friend who had enough belief and confidence in me to bring me in before these directors. That's who you're representing. It's not just you. It's Victoria also. So keep that in mind, man. And if you're not ready, don't go. I'm telling you, try to get an extra day. Because I missed an LA casting once and had to fly myself to New York to go and audition. And the director was like, he's going to fly out here? I said, yeah. And I flew myself there and ended up booking that movie because he saw how serious I was. It's like, I know you were in LA. I got one of those cheap tickets and I flew to New York, had a hotel for 1 night, went in and crushed it and flew back to LA and got the job. That time it worked out. Yeah, that time it worked out. There have been times it hasn't. There were 2 other times it didn't. It almost did, but it didn't. So, but represent yourself well, and remember you represent Victoria or whoever it is that's in the room that brought you in there, all right? And you represent your agents too.
And exactly. Yep.
Yeah, no, you do. Because
It's
they
so
can't
key.
send easy people out. It's like, what are you doing? What are you sending us?
True.
Yeah.
So right now we're working on Pinocchio, and we have to do the 1940s version of the voice for Jiminy and the 1940s version for Pinocchio. So the request has been to all the agencies is if you're going to have an actor go on tape, have them sound as close to the 1940s version. So the example is right there for you. And we have all these star names coming in for Jiminy, and they're like, well, can't they talk to Bob and stuff? Well, it's a star. Like, no, we don't want his interpretation. We want the 1940s feel, to be almost exact to that. And with other actors for the Pinocchio, we're saying the same thing. We need the 1940s version. I cannot tell you how many tapes we're listening to where actors are just putting themselves on tape. And I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, well, if she doesn't like me for this, maybe she'll like me for something else. And the answer is no. You've just wasted our time because you're wanting to be seen and it's not what we're looking for. So you're better off saying, I don't do this. So hopefully on another project, I can come in and do it. And the agency can represent you that way. But, because we'll say, hey, we'll see all these people as long as they can do that voice. And it's amazing. It's really disappointing at how many are just taking the time and not sounding at all like the 1940s voice. So just another example of how to be representative and also take care of yourself.
It's good. It's good, Vic. It's really good.
That's great.
Tay is one of our teachers here at First Take, Shantae. And then we have Rex after that, and then Carolyn, and then Heather.
Got my cup here. My question's for Mykelti, but Victoria, if you want to answer this as well, that would be great. So Mykelti, I know you've had a very long career, and so I wanted to know, what kind of things do you do? I know you have seasons probably where you have a lot of auditions, a lot of bookings, you're on set. What do you do during those times where maybe auditions aren't coming in as much or you're not working as much? What do you do to continue to feed yourself as an actor? And what kind of things you do to continue to grow during those times when you may not be auditioning or working?
What I tell all actors, save your money. Save your money, man. Save your money.
Yeah.
Buy smart. Don't overextend yourself. And do whatever it takes this side of the law to continue to get better at you and at your work, at your art. If that means working fast food for 8 hours a week, 4 nights where it's 2 hours a night, you do that. You do whatever it takes in respect of your art and your journey, whatever that is. If it's buying furniture, finding used furniture, restoring it, selling it, flipping that to make a living, whatever you got to do. I was the peephole man. I bought a big bag of peepholes back in the day when I was coming up as an actor, and I would put on a tie, shirt, jeans, and tennis shoes, and I hand wrote business cards, and I would go around the neighborhood with people who needed a peephole, and for $10, I would install their peephole. I'm telling you what I did, right? I was the peephole man. And I bought them wholesale, and that's what I did so I could be available to audition. And sometimes my phone would ring, a husband has come home from work and he's upset, and he calls to make sure I'm real. And I'm like, yeah, I'm real. What are you doing in my house? I install peepholes. And I'd love to come over right now if you would like one of these peepholes. I know you need one because you're calling me back. And I would go, and the husbands would thank me. I said, yeah, your house doesn't have a peephole. And so you do what you need to do to continue to get better at being you and at doing your art. I'm telling you, man, there's no shame. Forget that shame stuff. Don't let anybody shame you. Just stay focused. Shantae, right? Shantae, you stay focused, darling, because you have an energy, you got the face, you got some style, and you're rocking a t-shirt right now, and I can see you have style. You have stuff to bring, so bring it. You feel me? And that's it. That's all I got. That's me, man. That's how I do it, baby. Sorry, I get fired up. I love actors, so I want you to win.
Me too. Me too. I so admire what you all do to create worlds that we get to escape into, and creating those characters. As Nancy knows, Albert Brooks asked me to play a casting director character in his movie, which was a big stretch for me. And I had 8 lines. I was so terrified, T. I was like, oh my God, it was terrifying when somebody talked about how do you memorize. It's like, Krista, when you asked about this time ever memorizing, and God bless Penny Marshall and Albert for being very forgiving with me in a scene. But I had my little cheat sheet right there because I was so nervous and so self-conscious, which is why I so admire what you guys do, because when you disappear into characters, it's just such entertainment. But in answer to or adding to what T talked about is, when you love the world of acting, I always say the great homework is watch TV and write down characters that you believe you could be when you're watching it on TV. Because who knows if you decide to get together with a friend and recreate that scene or get into that character. It's just, that's such a wealth of, you know, stuff to see about all the different characters you can be and play. And you'll find that you resonate more to one type, you know, initially. And that's what you share with your agent and your manager so that they can look out for those things, because you have to keep educating your people at what you can do and what's in your wheelhouse. You don't have to do everything right away, but you do need to do something well. And that's how you can then turn it into other things. So most actors do one thing really, really well. And then after they get on a roll with some notoriety and fame, then they start doing other things. So that's my thoughts.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Nick. Next, we have Rex, who is also one of our first take teachers. Rex.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for doing this. I actually have a question for both.
Sorry, where's your mug, Rex?
Oh, sorry, my mug. Right here, don't worry. I have a question for both Mykelti and Victoria. I guess it's the sort of reverse for each of you, but I know, Mykelti, you have done a lot of work in producing and directing, and I was just curious to know how that has kind of informed your craft as an actor. And I guess for Victoria, I know you actually just talked about your experiences kind of getting to act a little bit and have cameos and stuff, and how has that informed? Has it changed it? What have you noticed in your regular craft as a result?
Is it okay? I don't mind if Victoria goes first. How would you like to proceed, Victoria?
Well, I became more sensitive. Thank you. I became more sensitive to what an actor goes through by being in that position. The first time I was asked to act was in Tales from the Crypt, and I was supposed to be a jewelry person. And I had one line, and I was so terrified that I asked them to take it out. So I was just a glorified extra. So I went down from an $800 job down to an $80 job, which you can only imagine how stupid that was. You know, I could have said, thanks, and made $800 instead. I didn't. And so that was always a big laugh. So, but I just found how much goes into it. And I've always loved actors. In, you know, when I first started in 1978, and it's an ongoing process of just admiration. And so I'm more sensitive to actors when they come in the room. I tend to be a caretaker. There's a lot of casting directors, granted, that are kind of arrogant and don't interact with people. We usually try to say, don't personally, because you don't know what we went. Yourself is coming in and go, okay, I'm bringing my creativity here to share. Maybe I'll change, you know, the attitude of the casting director. Did you hear that? Because my internet just went down. Anyway, that's my answer.
Thank you.
Well, the way producing and directing has informed me is I understand every part of the machinery. It's writing has been probably the most informative, because the things that the writer puts on the page, there's a reason that writers put these things on the page. And the more the actor knows about the writer's journey, the better off that actor is. So learn what you can about writing. There's a few books that that I would recommend. One is Adventures in the Screen Trade. The other is Save the Cat. That's by Blake Snyder. Save the Cat.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Yes.
A wonderful book. And all of you should read. There's a book, it's a little tough to find it, but it's called An Empire of Their Own. An Empire of Their Own. That's a book on the history of Hollywood and why we are where we are. It's about people of minimal resources, Jewish people, who created and built this industry. And the subtitle is How the Jews Invented Hollywood. It's in parentheses on the book cover. But An Empire of Their Own will inform you how resourceful and energy this is, and that people from humble beginnings did this. And you can do it too. It's a wonderful book, I'm telling you. It will open your eyes. But the more you know about writing, then you understand there's something called windows that writers put in the script. A window is an unspoken moment where the audience can look into the inner workings of a character and fully understand that character. What they will do and what they won't do. And it's all based on how a character behaves when no one else is around. If a character walks into a coffee shop and the attendant is on break, and then the character's walking out and they see a cash drawer filled with 20s, 10s, 5s, and 1s, how they respond, unspoken moment, how they respond to that cash sitting there defines the character. Maybe they only take a 10. That tells you something about that person. Maybe they take a 10 and a 5. And you go, okay, he just needed $15. She just needed $15. Or they take it all, or they leave it alone. All of those things are called windows. And a lot of actors are not being taught how to develop and fulfill windows. Because once you know that, how to develop and fulfill a window, you will always be an interesting actor to hire. You will always add value to the storytelling. And you do it in a way that you're not upstaging other actors. It's all behavior based. And it elevates the writer's writing, and they'll write more for you once you learn how to develop and fulfill windows. That cash register I talked about, that cash drawer, maybe you get to the set and it's not there. And you go in a place and you know you're going to look for this person and you're going to walk out and go find them, and they come around from the outside and meet you. Put the cash drawer up there. You see the cash, you walk by, and define your character along the journey. That's the kind of stuff I do in movies every time I'm in a movie. I help, but I'm only able to help because I understand what the writers do, what the producers do, what the director's job is, and what my job is. You understand? Mm-hmm. So hopefully that helps. But learn that. That's one of the things I teach, man. People pay me a lot of money to teach you guys what I'm teaching you right now. So, you know, I'm $250 an hour, $250 an hour. It's not $2.50.
Good.
$250 an hour privately. So, but because we're helping these puppies and these dogs, no, we're gonna get down today. I already said it. We're gonna get down, man. We're gonna do it today. Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
There's another book that I like too, by by an actress named Laura Kioette, and it's called No Small Parts, and it's KNOW, and how you can make something happen. Because the hardest thing to do for an actor is to make something happen in a line, right, T? I mean, it's like, it's much easier if you have a couple of pages to do, but when you have to like create something and not overdo it, it's really difficult. So I would just, there's another book too. And thank you for the.
Absolutely.
Oh, good, good. Carolyn?
Here's a toast to both of you. I'm very inspired today. Victoria, you know we all love you because Nancy invites you back all the time. And T, I've never met you before, obviously. And I would, before I ask my question, it's a simple question. You said something about yourself, and I think you're still doing it. And this is meant in a very positive way.
Yes.
Because you look so deeply inside your characters, you are still a peephole man. You have always done exactly who and what you are. When you said that, told us that story, I thought, no, you're still doing the same thing in a different way. Right. So it's a fascinating story about how who we are, it's always there in some way or another.
Yeah.
You know, who else would have thought of that? You see a need, you saw a need. These people need to look out. They need to be safe. They need to see something. Right. You've always needed to see something.
Wow.
It's fascinating. I think it's very interesting. So anyway, and that has
something. Carolyn, you got me thinking about that now. See.
Yeah. Well, it's how I think. Right. I was anyway. So some of my self-tape auditions, this is for both of you, have asked me, not too many of them, but some of them have asked me to get a separate video camera, a DSLR, and I have just started researching it. I have an old 6S iPhone and it takes perfectly fine videos. So I have a few types of cameras that I'm going to research. Do you have a suggestion for, or does this even, do you even know anything about it? I would be curious for any suggestions you would have.
Yeah, I don't know why you need a DSLR. That's a digital single lens reflex camera. I don't know why you need one of those zoom cameras to self-tape when an iPhone, an iPad, even a Samsung tablet or phone or pad will do the job with the proper microphone like we talked about earlier.
Yes.
I'm curious as to why you would need a DSLR. I don't.
Well, a couple of auditions early on in the pandemic asked for it, and also for the speed. You can go to speed.com or speed.net and get your speed. And I have the speed, but I didn't have the camera. That's one thing. So it's certain projects where they want you to have this equipment. I haven't had any lately. Second one is I have an agent in Los Angeles, and the commercial agent asked that we get that. And some things, commercials are being taped in your home. Sometimes they send a special iPhone and you'll tape in your home, and sometimes they want you to have the DSLR. So that's why I don't mind getting one. I just want to get something simple that's as close to point and shoot as it possibly can be, because that's about all I'm, my digital abilities are basic.
Yeah. Well, I like, camera-wise, I like Canon cameras.
Okay.
I have several. I like color space on Canon. It's closer to human color temperature and skin tone.
What did you call it? I couldn't hear that.
Canon.
Canon.
Canon. Canon has really nice cameras, and you don't have to pay a fortune. And they shoot well and will record sound.
Okay.
They even have some that'll go Wi-Fi. You can just send it right from your camera to someone.
Okay.
Yeah. So, get what you can afford. Don't break the piggy bank trying to get the camera. No, a $400 camera will do what a $1,200 camera will do for actors.
Yeah, that's all I need to know. Oh, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, but check out Canon and see what kind of buy you can find, and see if you like the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You got it.
Cool. Heather, next.
Hi, thank you so much for all this awesome insight that you're sharing. I will toast you with my iced tea. Thank you for all this awesome insight. I really, really appreciate it. I love being able to take little tidbits from every single actor that I can and kind of put it in my nice little toolkit. So I do have a question. Well, it's two questions. What is the hardest character that you've ever had to prepare for? And how did you go about tackling that? Because I know personally, sometimes when I'm met with something that is a little bit of a stretch for me, it's intimidating and I'm not quite sure how to go about breaking down that mountain to build to deliver.
Well, Victoria, I love what you said about people being home during the opportunity we have during this pandemic to be home and keep trying things and making mistakes and not being judged. I think what Victoria said earlier, I thought that was powerful. She said, you're home. You can try anything you want as many times as you want. And then when you feel like, okay, got it, then you can record it and send the best couple of takes. Record it, like she said, as many times as you want. I think you just have to stop being afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There's no value in fear. Don't be afraid, man. I'm serious. Yeah. And you don't, like I said, you and the rest of your peers on this phone, nobody on here looks like a duck. So you shouldn't be nervous about being on camera. Everybody here's got something to offer. So know that you're good enough and do like Victoria says, just keep after it until you dial in on what you are comfortable and pleased with and record that. Does that help?
Yeah, that helps. And what I guess every actor's been there before with struggling at first when you get a script and not really quite knowing how to break it down in the best of your abilities. Have you had any of those moments yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some scripts, it's hard to get through the first 10 pages. I'm like, oh, wow. Because it's important to keep pushing, but then the story opens up around page 30 and you go, why did the movie have to start so slow? Man, so your opinion is valuable. That's my opinion about a script or a movie. So Victoria also offered, you should be watching a lot of television. I know she means movies as well, but there's a lot of classic movies. For women, I recommend that you watch Westerns with yourself as the lead guy. No, I'm serious.
That's new. I haven't heard anybody say something like that, but I mean, it makes sense.
Watch Westerns. As a woman, watch Westerns. Okay. And you're John Wayne. You're the lead character. You are. And how would you navigate this journey as a woman having those responsibilities and those situations? How would you navigate that? And that's the kind of creative juice you get flowing in your head. And start playing, man, and having some fun. But don't just look at it and to be entertained. Because entertainment means, the word defined means to enter and hold captive.
Okay.
That's what entertain means, to enter and hold captive. You're being held captive or you're studying. So how would you navigate this Western as that lead person? Period.
That's awesome. No, I never in a million years would have thought to look at Westerns for female lead roles as into how to navigate. That's amazing.
So good. I know, never would have thought of that either. Love it.
I was on a panel one time, and there was me and a bunch of actors, and I remember this gentleman talking about the fact that every time he went into auditions, he was looking at everybody else that he was in competition with, and it made him nervous, and he didn't get the job, and he was always feeling less than. And then he changed his mindset and said, every role I do, it's an opportunity, and it's just I get to do the job I love. And he turned his mindset around. And even though there was a big challenge of a role, he looked at it as an opportunity to do what he loves to do. And he started booking after that. He said it was just a change of mindset.
Perspective totally sounds just like a change in perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Here's something that turned my career around in the audition process. Normally, you get to see all your friends and your peers and the competitors, and you all get to meet and know each other. But the kiss of death is the person who wants to come up and small talk and catch up. I'm not there for that. And so what I started doing early on in my 20s was I started saying hello, greet people well, and said, man, let me go around the corner and get these words in my head. I already knew the material, but I don't want to small talk and people pulling me, talking about they had a flat. I don't want to hear about any of the stuff that you're going through. I want to focus on this. I don't even talk to my mom or any of my family members on my audition days. I'll talk to you afterwards, but you can't call me giving me some stuff that you're going through because not right now. Save that.
Good. So good.
Gotta focus. Yeah, for sure.
So I started separating myself from the other people who want to small talk, and I'm always happy to see them small talk because they're not focused, and I am. So I'm down the hall, around the corner, and the assistant knows where I am and has told me how many people ahead, and they go 4. So I'll 4. Okay, cool. Then I come back and say, and it's 2. Okay, great. And then I stay close when my number gets closer. So, yeah, but separate yourself from people. Don't stay there small talking. Girl, how you? Oh, I love your hair. You frosted it. Oh, your nails. That's not, yeah, that's not what you're there for. So just take care of you. All right.
Definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Cool. David. We have David, then Janina, and then Kathy.
Yes, thank you so much, Nancy. And thank you, Victoria and Mykelti, for being here. This is so awesome. It's so inspiring. I have a few questions. Mykelti, I just want to just say everything you're saying, man, it's just you have so much love and truth that's just coming out. And I think it's really filling up all of us. Thank you so much. My questions, they're related in a lot to some of what's been said already, but just going back real quick to Bubba. How much did that character evolve from the audition into the actual shoot? And I had a question for you about Fences, what that was like working on that project. And one other piece is just how has your career evolved? How did it actually adapt and evolve from acting into teaching into music and all of this? I know I just threw a lot at you, but that's just was going through my mind as we've had this conversation today.
Okay, where would you like me to start?
I guess you can start with Bubba.
Okay. All right. We talked about how that journey came to pass. I actually loved that character, flawed on the outside,
right,
and somewhat fragile internally, and you have to pick where and what their triggers are. But I still have a great love for what I do. And I like people. I like people, man. I like people. My mom would catch me when I was little just talking to people. She's like, boy, get over here. I don't know those people. I was like, no, they're nice. She's like, get back over here. So I've always liked people. And Forrest Gump was a great opportunity for me as well. And I never forget that. And I'm always, every day, I'm thankful for everything that I have. And I think is important to know how lucky we are, for lack of a better term, or fortunate we are that we get to do this and that we're pursuing this. You had several questions in there, so fire.
Yeah.
Next one, yeah.
No, I'm sorry. What was it like working on Fences?
Fences was challenging. It was, all the jobs are difficult, every single one. Yeah. There's nothing easy about what we're doing, because if you just use the simple formula, pardon me, the love, respect, power, and a flamethrower, and you keep asking all those exhaustive questions, you've got some work ahead of you, you know? And then, but working on Fences was great. When I actually auditioned for it, I went in to meet with Denzel, and it was on Broadway actor, Kenny Leon. And I did the work. I mean, Denzel knows all of us, so he couldn't like pick and choose people because you hurt somebody's feelings. You'd hurt someone who really wanted an opportunity. And so he had to open the door for all of his peers to come in and audition. And he said, I hated doing this, but it was the only way to do it. I said, man, I get it. So I knew I was representing a brain injured person and not a weirdo. We are sophisticated enough now to know that it's called a TBI, traumatic brain injury. If you read August Wilson's words, the man was shot in his head in the war and hasn't been the same since. That's a traumatic brain injury. So how do I elevate his humanity without making him too much of an outcast? And so all those love questions got answered. The experience was great. I thought I sucked at the audition. I was so upset with myself because I didn't hit some of the things I wanted to hit in the audition. I went home and I got into bed. This was a Friday. And I chilled the rest of the evening. Saturday, I spent the rest of the day lying on top of my bed, reading. I just didn't feel like going to do anything. And then Sunday afternoon, I went out to go meet my agent at a network function. And my late agent, God rest her soul, Gabrielle Kringle, I went out to go meet Gabrielle, and she said, "God, you look different. I said, you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm good." She says, "Yeah, what's going on?" I said, "Man, I went on that Fences thing Friday, and it just, man, I sucked." She said, "What are you talking about?" I said, "Man, it was the worst audition ever." She said, "No." I said, "See, there you go, making fun." She said, "No, I'm not making fun." She said, "We're doing the deal. They loved you." I said, "What? Why didn't you call me? Do you know I've been in the bed 2 days? I could have been doing stuff," right? Because I was so emotionally upset that I didn't elevate my work to the highest level. But the fact that I brought the kind of humanity to the role that they saw in that audition made me their guy. So sometimes it may not go 100% like you want it to go, but they saw enough. So that's why it's important to understand it's an opportunity. Like Victoria just said, this is an opportunity, man. For me to get here and to be able to share some of these trade secrets with some of you, it's an opportunity for me to see better actors going forward. For Victoria, it's an opportunity for her to see the same and fewer nervous actors coming in to meet. Because now you get it. You know whose side she's on. So this is a privilege, man. It's an opportunity, bro. So I think, I know it's, is it close to 12 o'clock now or something like that?
Yeah, it's getting late, man.
Okay, all right, yeah. But
Thank you so much.
I hope this has been helpful.
So helpful.
I can hang a few more minutes if there's a couple more questions.
We have, if you can do just, there's two other people that had their hands up that didn't get to ask. If we can do quick questions, maybe. I don't want to keep you guys, because so sweet of you guys to do this.
Thank you so much.
We have Janina and then Kathy.
Questions I would love to add, when he talked about feeling like he didn't do the audition well, and he went home and you sat in your apartment. Literally, Max Martini did.
Oh my God, I love this story.
The audition for us on Contact. He went in New York, and I happened to have hired him on Walker, Texas Ranger, and he called me up personally, and he said, I sucked in the audition. I didn't feel good. Do you mind if I do it again at home and send you a tape? And I said, there's time, go for it. And he did, and he got the role because he put his own spin on it. It was so funny. He'd stepped in the second audition while he was on the street and kept it on the tape. Bob saw it, loved it, brought Jodie Foster in. They both got a big laugh. He said, fly him out here. I'm going to tell him in the room that he's got the gig. It was just, he brought his own take to it. But the point being is, when you don't feel good about it, feel that there is that window of opportunity to go home and do your thing and give it another shot. It's all till you try, you know?
Right. That's true. You know, do you know the Amy Madigan story from, what was that film we did together? Streets of Fire.
No, tell.
Michael Pare was the lead, and he had a sidekick, a backup guy who was tough as nails, and they called him Cody. It's like a cowboy, but like a futuristic modern day, but cowboy throwback, right? And so Amy Madigan wanted to go in on that role, and her agent, this is the 80s, this is 1983, and her agent said, that's for a guy, no. And so Amy prepared, she said, okay. Her agent thought she was going in on the role that they tried to convince her of. Amy studied the Cody character. And she walked in with a raincoat, you know, like the Australian duster. And she looked like, and she said, listen, I can't, right in front of Walter Hill, she said, I came in to audition for Cody. And he looked at her and she said, so I'm ready. So you guys want to see this? Because I've been working on it. And they said, okay. They got the Cody sides to read with her, and she knocked it out of the park, and she became Cody in the movie Streets of Fire. So
awesome.
That's the path Amy Madigan chose back in the day. And it was like, man, I'm like, girl, you are cold as ice. You know? So yeah, but think out of the box, be creative. I have actors who have gone in, students of mine, or agents have sent me students to help because they kick over furniture and do all kind of way out crazy stuff in the audition. Please don't do that.
All right. Thank
Please
you for
don't
saying
do
that.
I know of an actor who punched a hole in the wall in the casting director's wall and freaked this little man out. Scared
Me too.
as yeah.
We had an actor punch a hole in one of our walls as well. No bueno.
No, that doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody. So please don't. Please help yourself when you go in. I like to take the positive route. Help yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, I know that we're right at the finish time. Instead of doing maybe you guys just have closing things you want to share. Maybe that would be a better way to wrap. Because I don't want to keep you guys too long past the 12 o'clock time. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm open to a question if you want.
Okay. Sure. We've got Janina and then Kathy.
Thank you for extending your time and providing your time. The Bay Area, San Francisco, is a very commercial market. So short of moving to LA, what would you suggest for somebody wanting to get into drama or comedy, more film and television rather than commercial? How do we work on that, being so far away from that market?
You shouldn't worry about being anywhere anymore. It's all so remotely done that you can live anywhere and be considered theatrically. So don't get hooked into your location. It really is open. It's about the agent and the manager and the relationship you have, and it's getting that that partnership so that they promote you, and you have to court your agents and your managers. It's really important so that you're always relevant to them in sending you out. A lot of times have 300-400 people that they're looking out after, and you want to make sure that they think about you when submitting roles.
Right. Remember birthdays. And you don't have to go extravagant, just notes. Handwritten notes are so much, and this term is wrong, there's so much way cooler than an email. You understand, my daughter would say, that is so much way cooler. It's no such term. For us, it is. It's so much way cooler to just write. And you can find this information on the internet or ask the assistant in the office. And remember the assistant's birthday too. Their right hand, send them a note. then they know there's a connection. It's like, oh, we're connected. I really like, because the assistant, the way you treat them is the way that agent's going to reciprocate treatment of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Janita, we have a lot of, a huge percentage of our school are working regularly in LA on film and television projects. So it's just, especially now with all the self-tape stuff, it's really, we're only an hour flight away. So
would you suggest then, if Victoria's mentioned courting agents, so would you suggest paying for a real service or because I have nothing for a reel. So is that the next best thing? Is that the only way I'll really get to showcase and be able to court, is to pay for that kind of service at this point?
I can, she's going to want to hear from
let
you
me
guys.
tell you, yeah, I'm going to jump in with this. Right now, from the CAA agents to the ICM to the smaller agencies, if you have an accumulation of self-tapes that you've done, you can create that as your demo. The big agencies are sending that to us with their development clients. And that way we get to see what an actor is like now. Like, you might have a film piece, but it could be 4 years ago. And we always want to see the most current stuff. And a lot of times you do a rockin' good self-tape, and that's going to serve just as well as being on a project. So don't be afraid of that and embrace it. It happens on all levels of the agency management world now. It's very acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's on Chicago PD, we have background actors who really want to be next level actors. And one of the things I tell them is, because I see them rehearsing their lines when they're standing in for the series regulars. So they took me to lunch and I told them, I said, listen, you guys should be shooting these scenes for yourself at home and compiling your own demo reels. You've got real material, execute it, shoot it at home, and then put it on your reels. And they were like, we never thought of that. But that's what it is. Even your auditions, if you keep them and make them even better and put them on your reel, you've got a reel.
Thank you so much. That's very helpful. I never thought of that. Okay. Thank you.
Kathy, last question.
Thank you both for being here. I'm done with my tea, so I'll toast water. I just have a couple of quick questions. First, Victoria, thank you for doing all the dog rescue stuff. You may hear my pugs snoring while I'm talking to you. They take their lapdog breeding very seriously. So my question, you both mentioned accents. Is there a particular accent that you would suggest working on first? Like something that is more in demand?
Well, I think the more you can learn, the better off you are. I know that the British accent is one that will be go-to. Australia is another one.
Okay.
And different Southern accents. But Samuel French Bookstore, I think they're still online, but you can get accent DVDs. You can even, I think, download accents now from different services that have actor accents from different parts of the world. So investigate the download opportunities and see what you find, and see what interests you that you may want to try, and let your instrument dictate. Yeah. What do you think, Victoria?
I think that as far as popularity, it's probably the British. And standard, and also Southern. Those are the two that I see. But I'm also in a very small capsule of the world. You might see more variety. It's just what's wonderful about our business is it's opening up so much that if something feels really strong and let's say you're working on a scene, try it in another accent just to see how it feels. I mean, our example is that little boy that was supposed to be Southern, and it actually worked better as British, and so we hired British. Sometimes it just sounds better in another accent than it does in normal Americana. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Cool. Well, honestly, this has been amazing. I know we're getting all kinds of notes here saying that people have taken pages and pages of notes from what they learned today, and incredible stuff that you guys had to share. I feel grateful for both of you. Victoria, you've been amazing and so generous repeatedly in coming and being a guest for our school. And so I know people have learned so much from you. And
I learned
Mykelti,
from T today. It was great. You know, I love this. I admire all of you guys. I just think what you're doing is amazing, and it's hard work, but it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree. Hey, thank you all for this opportunity. Thank you, Victoria, for being my partner in crime today. Nancy, for facilitating this. This was a nice round of ping pong with Miss Victoria over here, man.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. You know? Yeah. But listen, I wish you all the best, every single one of you. Don't quit on yourself. If your path alters, that's different. But stay on your journey, the journey that you truly believe in. Okay, and do your work.
Beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and do your work. All right. Okay. Thank you.
That's good. It's good. Thank you so much. T, so
Thank you.
generous of you to do
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you guys. This is
so much,
amazing.
guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. This is amazing.
Thank
I
you,
loved it.
Michael.
You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
Bye.
Thank you.